Hello! Over the past weeks and months I've been reviewing a lot of these little guys from SNT, which are great fun, especially these ones with the suspension. And these are tiny little FPV cars. They don't have to be FPV, you can take the camera off and then it's just a car. And it's very much a traditional radio control for this. You have the little steering wheel and trigger and you can go. SNT have now brought out a Wi-Fi based one and I've got it here to test. It looks like this. It's just a general drive around, no FPV at the moment for this one, and you get an app on your phone and you could drive it, so I thought let's check it out. But let's get close up, see exactly what you get in there, and then we'll get the app, we'll charge things up and we'll get driving. Okay, so let's see what's in the box. Well, it's very much the same as you'd normally get. You've got the little car, and that is fairly indistinguishable from all the other cars. It looks exactly the same. You can't tell there's anything different there. It's got its little stand. We've got the charge cable. Should be a little USB-C cable here. Yep. And we've got this little thing about how to find the app in the App Store. Absolute bog standard underneath. We've got the charge port there. We switch it on via the switch like so, and it comes on. We do have the facility to put the regular FPV camera in there, which would fit in from one of these regular FPV cars. But the difference is that for now you'd need your regular analog goggles to look at that whilst driving this with your phone. Maybe that will change in the future. So this guy seems to have a little bit of charge in it, so let's turn it on, see if we can't connect up my phone. I have already downloaded the app, which looks like this. If we press connect, we have to say no FPV. So connect, and it asks you to join the network, which is that one. Password should be sniclo.com. And then once we get that joined, get out to the car app, we can completely use the app to do things. Next we can turn motion control on. As far as I can tell, motion control, if you look at the wheel steering there, only seems to work on that. It doesn't seem to work on forward or backwards tilt, so it kind of gets stuck there. We just move that forward just a tad, and we can. I've got another. I need a bit more oomph to make it go up. Like that. So that is a way of doing it. But let's charge this up properly and we'll take it for a drive and we'll experiment with all the modes and see what can be done. Okay, welcome back. We are connected to the car in the normal fashion, so we've got our normal steer around things and stuff. But I thought there's a couple of other things on the thing here, and I'm screen recording this so I can show you exactly what's happening. If I just bring the car in so we can focus on that a second. We have got stuff like we can have the turn signals on. So if we turn the turn signals on and then go ahead and steer, you should be able to see a little indicator going. If we go ahead and turn the brake lights on, what should happen is we go forward and then it stops, backwards, brake lights come on, okay. And the last one we've got, oh, we've got reversing lights, I didn't see that. What's that do? It just keeps the brake lights on when you go backwards. Okay. And there was, so atmosphere lights. If I press the buttons and show you that, we've got red, purple, this is basically the underneath lights. You can sort of see it light up there, especially if I just hold it up a little bit like this. So blue, green, sort of cyany blue, orange. I'm going to go with purple. And then lastly, we've got the slider for the headlights, so we can make the headlights brighter or dimmer. So I'm just going to have a quick drive around with this, see how accessible it is. It's quite reasonable when you're driving it, you know, nice and slow. No big deal. But what happens if we zip the speed up to 100%? Ooh, yeah, that's a bit harder on Wi-Fi mode. Whoa! So it doesn't seem a bad thing to keep the speed reasonably down to what it was set to. Yeah, if we bring steering down to 50%, oh wow, that's like full lock. That does need to be on 100, I think. So now I've got a bit more room. I'm going to try it in motion control mode again, because it certainly was interesting. The only weirdness is that it's only motion on the steering, if you can see what I'm doing there. But back and forth, it's got the control, and when you take your thumb off it, it stays where it is. So if I just say go forward a bit, it will kind of carry on going that fast. If I just bring it forward a little bit more. I can't show you both because they won't both stay in focus. I'm interested to know what this is like at 100%. So why don't we try it just for funsies? Okay, 100% steer. Here we go. This is me trying to go for it. Whoa, Jesus. I don't feel like I'm in control. Oh, it's into a spin. This is not very controllable. Stopping. I feel with motion control, it's like bring it down to like 30%, and then you're probably okay. So I'm gonna get out of motion control for now, because there were two other things I wanted to look at, and the first one being FPV. So as I mentioned, there's no Wi-Fi FPV yet, but if we pop on one of the FPV cameras from the other models, then tell it we do have an FPV camera, and what we then should have is an image. So if we were to drive around with that, we can see, whoops, we can see me drive into the antenna of it. We get that. But this goes, I think, slightly against the grain of, you know, how we would be using this, because we just got a phone. So I expect the Wi-Fi camera will come later. But in the meantime, what there also is in the app is the ability to use an external controller. And if we do that, because I have connected up this, and it's very important to know that you connect this to your phone, not the device itself. So I've got Bluetooth into my iPhone, and I'm going to do the key mapping. So forward's going to be that way, steer is that way. I don't really care about these, but headlight. Okay, so I've just set it up so this goes like that. I've set it up on sticks rather than triggers. Triggers didn't want to work instantly, but yeah, if most people have got a joystick, this is a fairly easy way of getting working, and you don't need, well, you do need your phone, but obviously it's, I think, a physical connection where you're actually using sticks or something is better, and certainly lets you go a bit faster and feel in control, although this thing can spin out really easy. See if everything works. If we, well, that's lights, thingy lights, and this should increase, or hang on, let me decrease. If I do that, it decreases the maximum speed, so it's a bit more easy, and if I hit this trigger, maximum speed is increased and we're out of control. And that doesn't preclude you also using the phone controls at the same time, it would seem, interestingly. Yeah. There you go. Now, there's not too much I can say about the car itself that I haven't already said about the other cars I reviewed, so I'd encourage you to look back, because everything you can do with those cars you can do with this one, albeit with a different controller. And you may be thinking, hey, what's wrong with your traditional remote here? Because as far as accessibility goes, someone who's never used a radio control car before can pick this up because it's a steering wheel. And I think it's about even more accessibility, because everyone's got a phone and everybody knows how to use a phone, and they know how to, you know, use their thumbs on the screen. Personally, I like tactile feedback. I like a physical trigger, a wheel, sticks, anything. I don't particularly like driving things or touching things on touchscreens. But if you move the control down, if you bring the speed back down, I think it's controllable. And I think the idea is, because everyone's got a phone, you can keep the cost down to produce these, and it's much easier for anybody to drive them. So it's kind of like, you know, Same old thing. Driving it by yourself, not that exciting. Get a couple of friends round, maybe a couple of drinks, who knows, and set up a little course and drive around and have a race, and you'll have a fun time. Much more fun than doing it by yourself. I think it'd be really interesting to see what happens when they do bring out the Wi-Fi FPV camera, which is coming, because really using this hybrid of your phone and an analog FPV camera doesn't really work. It has to be all in or not. So that will be coming, and you'll be able to get them individually and add them onto here, which would be interesting to see. Now, we did lose some screen recording in that video. The only important things you didn't see there was the slider for the headlight, which I'm sure you could work out. There was also something to set the trim, which you could do, which isn't very exciting. It's only if your car's not going straight you can sort it out. They say you should get about 40 minutes driving out of this, which I can definitely believe, given that on the previous ones I've been able to drive them for literally an hour without an FPV camera. They half that and say about 20 minutes with FPV. I haven't really done much FPV because I thought it was a bit of a weird mix, but yeah, you certainly get a decent amount of time on it, and the charging time is not too bad. So yeah, this has been the little SNT 370Z. It's the Q25 series. It's the Wi-Fi car, essentially. That's the only one they've got at the moment. Kindly supplied by SNT. Thanks very much to them. And of course, you can find links down below if you're interested in checking one of these little guys out. Anyway, I hope that's been helpful, and I will catch you next video. Bye for now.
Well, you've made it to the end of the video, so thanks once again for watching. If you like what you saw, then please consider subscribing, and if you really like what you saw, then be sure to check out the link to my blog for a variety of ways in which you can help support this channel.